Greetings in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. It's a great pleasure to meet you again. Today, we will be looking at three important points. Let's have a look. First, we will be looking at the Israel-Palestine conflict, and more specifically, we will look at the viral video which Trump has shared in his official X site. And this video is about the Trump Gaza takeover. This is an AI video of how Trump is planning to reconstruct and rebuild Gaza. You can also see him along with the Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Elon Musk, the CEO of SpaceX, Tesla, and Starlink. This video portrays of how Gaza is going to look in the future. Some people are opposing this video, but some people are laughing at it. But in practical, we can see the intention of Trump to take over Gaza. The US wanted to completely take over Gaza and give it to Israel or to keep it for themselves. We have discussed a lot about this topic, but it is clearly indicating that Gaza will be taken over. The Israel Prime Minister talked about safely relocating the people of Gaza to a different location, and along with that, there is also a ceasefire deal discussion which is going on with Egypt. But after looking the video which Trump has released, it looks like the war is going on to a different phase. Along with the current Trump-Gaza issue, one more issue which is going on is that the special coordinator of UNSCO has given a statement that the chance of a two-state solution between the Israel and Palestine has been declining. The two-state solution is basically an agreement between the Israel and Palestine to divide Jerusalem into two. That is, the Temple Mount will be handed over to the Palestine and Tel Aviv and other new locations will be handed over to the Israelites. Now, the probability of the two-state solution is in decline after Trump has come to power. People have started to gather other countries asking them to talk about the two-state solution, but the hope is fading away. This will never be a two-state solution, but instead this will be only one state. The whole of Jerusalem will be the capital of Israel. Not just biblically, but also worldly. This is how it is going to end. The second point is about the rise of the European Union. One kingdom falls and the other kingdom rises. That is how the history has been from the beginning. When the Babylon Empire fell under the rule of Belshazzar, it was the rise of the Persian Empire. The Persian Empire fell under the rule of Darius III, and that is when the Greek Empire under Alexander the Great came to power. And when the Greek Empire fell under Macedonian V, the Roman Empire came to power. Like this, empire after empire will come to power. After the rule of England, the America is currently in power for almost 70 to 90 years. Why I highlight 70 years is that their WTC was attacked on the 70th year, that is exactly from their currency being accepted as the world currency. So by the end of this 90 years, the next superpower has to come, which is the European Union, the 10-country organization according to the Bible. So before they rise, the previous empire has to fall, right? Everyone is expecting Trump to redeem the United States. But when Trump came to power, we told that US cannot be saved by Trump, but he will buy the land required to build the third temple for Israel. But the decisions of Trump doesn't seem to be saving the US. Number one, 25% tariff has been imposed on Canada and Mexico, which is expected to be in effect from March. And we are expecting a retaliation from Canada and Mexico. 10% has been imposed on China, and definitely China is expected to react. The world is disappointed with the decision which Trump has taken now. The second disappointment is about Trump's support towards Russia and the Russia and Ukraine war. Zelensky is the president of Ukraine. He was ill-treated in the White House during the discussion with the US president. But Zelensky didn't compromise at any point. He boldly spoke and returned back to Ukraine. Now, this has erupted the entire Europe against Trump's decision, and now all countries in Europe have started to speak against Donald Trump. There are already two global leaders who warned Trump in front of him. One was the French President Macron, and the other the German Chancellor. They directly highlighted the mistake of Trump regarding his stand on Ukraine conflict. Trump immediately told to stop it while the news was on live. Now Europe is rising against Trump. What will happen next is, will they get into war? No. Now Europe will become the next superpower nation and US will fall. That is what Trump is doing right now. Europe has started to build its own army and they have a very strong economy right now. They have already started to send army to Ukraine. If you ask, will this be the reason for the Third World War? No, it will not be. The escalation of Iran Israel war will turn to Russia Israel war, and the fight for the Temple Mount will turn to the Third World War as per the Bible. What we see is the fall of US and the rise of Europe. There have been more evidences towards that in this week. And at last, we are going to see one very important update. And now we are going to see one very important update, a very interesting one. It's about the climate change that has taken place over the last 3 decades. The World Economical Forum has released a very important update about this in their website. One of my friend had shared this to me. We will see how we can link these with the Bible verses. The World Economical Forum has released some data about the climate change. In the past 3 decades, there has been a loss of more than $2 trillion due to extreme weather conditions. That is due to floods, due to earthquakes, whatever it is. But due to climate changes, the most affected country is China, which has been affected by $706 billion in cost. If you ask me what is the relationship between this climate change and us, is that just as the days of Noah were, so also will be the coming of the Son of Man be. In the days of Noah, we see that the floodgates of the heavens were the first to open. We see that in Genesis chapter 7, verse number 11. But we do not know the exact meaning of how the floodgates of heavens were opened. Plus or minus, this is happening 1650 years after Adam. People sinned in those days and there were consequences for it. We do not know how the global warming was. We do not know how the climate changes were during those days. Even though they were vegetarians, but still they were in a state where they had to cook the food. We are in a far worse situation than that. Now, on the data which the World Economical Forum has shared with us, there are 4 important points which I can highlight, in which they talk about the climate change or the field that is very dangerous to the world. The first point is that extreme weather conditions, be it a rain or be it a flood, the impact has become very high nowadays. And when it comes to summer, the temperature goes extremely high. In 2023, they called it as the record hottest year. And when 2024 came, they called it as the most warmest year recorded ever. And now, 2025, the beginning itself has been too hot and we don't know where we are headed to. The Bible says in 2 Peter chapter 3 verse 10, the elements will melt with fervent heat. This may not be something which takes place on one day. This will be something which happens over a period of time. Number 2, biodiversity loss. That is, the loss of variety of life on earth, which includes the loss of species, genes, or ecosystems. Our recent research says that the sunscreen which we apply to protect our skin from the heat waves, in our country it has become very famous. We apply and go outside. But in foreign countries, people apply this and take sunscreen for many reasons. But what the WEF says is that if 1,000 people use sunscreen, the wastage that comes from their body will reach the ocean, and the total wastage, which is estimated to be around, is 35 kgs of sunscreen. So what this sunscreen is doing is that it is creating harm to marine life by reducing the fish fertility. Imagine for 1,000 people, 35 kg of sunscreen is entering the ocean. In May, for England, there will be more than 3.5 lakh people who visit the beaches. So imagine the quantity of sunscreen that will be entering the ocean and imagine the loss in marine life. This is being claimed as a very important part. Just like this, the loss of biodiversity is happening on other hand also. Zephaniah chapter 1 verse number 3 and Hosea chapter 4 verse number 3 clearly says about the loss of biodiversity. The verse says that I will sweep away both man and beast. I will sweep away the birds in the sky and the fish in the sea. Even in recent times, Zimbabwe had asked the people to hunt down the wild animals when the famine went out of control. Number 3, the glaciers have started to melt at a record high rate. They have started to disappear faster than ever. And if these glaciers will melt at this pace, then there will be definitely a huge rise in the global sea level. Just imagine how catastrophic it is going to be with the glaciers melting at this speed. The fourth important point is the decline of natural resources. That is, we are consuming the natural resources at an unsustainable rate. On one side, we are extracting oil from the ground, and the other side, we are also continuously taking the groundwater to an effect that the level where the groundwater is available has gone deeper. We have started to extract all available natural resources from the ground, including methane, ethane, or whatever is available to them. Even in recent times, what do you think the conflict is between Trump and Ukraine is? Trump is expecting a 50% control over the critical minerals available in Ukraine. In 1940, the US signed a deal with Saudi Arabia for oil extraction from their country. Like this, the natural resources of every country has started to completely diminish. The Bible has clearly warned us about the warnings and the destruction that is to come. Revelation chapter 8 clearly says that a third of the earth was burned up, a third of the sea turned into blood, a third of the living creatures in the sea died. And if you see chapter 16, whatever is left out of the third will start to die. Part by part, the destruction has started. But just like in the days of Noah, people are not realizing of the things that is going to come or the evidences which is happening around them. The days of Noah is directly given a reference for the Son of Man coming in Matthew chapter 24. The evidences that is going to happen before the coming of Son of Man in all angles, not just Jerusalem, not just wars. God did not stop there. He spoke about diseases. He spoke about earthquakes. He spoke about natural disasters. We have to see on all angles. All these things clearly point to one thing: the Lord is coming soon. Let us prepare for the coming of Christ. If God wills, we will meet you again in another episode. God bless you.